By way of introduction, as you heard, my name is Mike Masnick. My company is called Floor 64. This is what the website looks like. We do a bunch of different things, working with a bunch of different companies, helping them to understand new media, social media trends, and how to connect with the different communities that they deal with. However, most people probably know me, if they know me, for Techdirt, which is a blog that we run as part of Floor 64. The blog looks something like this. In the blog, I quite often write about the music industry and the recording industry, and specifically I've written a lot about what Trent Reznor has done, having to do with the business models that he's been adopting and testing out. And so that, of course, those posts and everything that I've written there has led to this presentation, how Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails represent the future of the music business. Now, I know this presentation, we're running a little bit late. It was supposed to start at 11:45 in the morning here. Back in my native California, that is 2:45, I think, a.m. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I think some of you are a little bit jet lagged. So I figured in order to help keep myself awake and everybody else awake, that in these 15 minutes I'd run through only 280 slides. I figured at a fast enough pace, none of us could really fall asleep too quickly. But I figured within those 280 slides, I could still make some important points about what Trent Reznor has done and how the business model experiments that he's worked on really do represent the future of music. So, with that introduction, it seems like I've let a lot of people get in and get seated. Let's just get started with going through what he has done. So, chapter 1. Whether it was on purpose or not, and I really don't know which one it is, Trent Reznor seems to have actually figured out the very secret to putting together a successful music business model. And it starts with something very simple. CWF stands with Connect with Fans. You add to that RTB, a reason to buy, and put those things together, and that equals the business model. Now, it seems really, really simple, and a lot of people say, well, what's so special about that? But what's amazing is actually how difficult it has been for others to combine these two elements in a way that actually allows them to make money, while also seeing just how much Reznor has used these two factors together and done a very good job of it over and over again in multiple different ways. And this started even when he was signed to a major record label. He was using this model in some very interesting ways with the album Year Zero in 2007. Before they launched the album, he connected with fans by putting together an internet scavenger hunt or an alternative reality game. It actually started with, this is the back of his t-shirt from the concert tour in 2007. I don't know how easy it is to see, but some of the letters within the names of the cities are actually highlighted. And if you took those highlighted letters and put them in order, it actually spelled out, I am trying to believe. And some people were smart enough to take those letters, put that together, and add a .com to the end, went to iamtryingtobelieve.com, and got sucked into this alternative reality game, which was quite a lot of fun, and it sort of enhanced the overall experience for the fans and connected with those fans in a way that went beyond just the music. So because of that, it made the fans more engaged and energized and excited, and it even did something, and this is either good or bad depending on where you sit in the room, it upset Reznor's own record label. And that's because part of this experience was that he took USB keys and he put some new music on it, and then he dropped them in bathrooms at the various concerts he was doing. So fans would find these USB keys on the floor or around the bathrooms at the various venues. They would take it home, put it into their computers, and find new music from Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails. And then, of course, they would go out and share that music. And of course, in doing this, it again engaged the fans, got them energized, and got them excited. The only group it didn't really excite was the RIAA, who happened to send takedown notices for the music that Reznor himself was leaking. That's not exactly a way to connect with fans. It's actually a way to limit fans and annoy those fans. So just sort of moving on, what Reznor did was he continued to give people reasons to buy, even as he was leaking the music himself. When they actually released the CD for the album, the CD itself actually changed colors. You put it into the CD player, and as it got warm, the color on the physical CD would change. That's kind of a little gimmick, but it was actually something that was kind of cool and gave people a reason to have the actual CD, because you can't duplicate changing colors on the CD with an MP3. So it was a reason that people could actually buy a reason to actually buy the physical CD as well. So that was sort of a simple example when he was still signed with the major record label. But chapter 2 of this is after that album, he was no longer signed to a major, and he went out on his own and entered the supposedly vast wasteland of what is today's music industry. But it wasn't a problem for him because he knew that by connecting with fans and giving fans a reason to buy, he could create a business model that actually worked. And it started with the album Ghosts 1 through 4. And he connected with fans by giving them options, not just trying to funnel them all into a single model of how they had to interact with his music. There were a number of different options, and he gave them a reason to buy by giving all different additional benefits and added features for why they might want to buy and actually give him money. And I'm going to quickly go through these. It started with a free download. There were 36 tracks on the album. The first 9 of those you could download for free. All 36 were actually put under a Creative Commons license. So once people had them, they could actually share them legally. But if you wanted to download them for free directly from his website, you only got the first 9 tracks. For $5, you could get all 36 tracks and a 40-page PDF file. $5 for 36 songs is a lot cheaper than the iTunes $1 a song model or whatever it is these days. For $10, you get a 2 CD set and a 16-page booklet. $10 for a 2-disc CD set, that's pretty good. But these are all things that lots of artists have done. They'll do sort of this donation model or buy a cheap CD from the site. What he did beyond that was where it started to get interesting. It started with a $75 deluxe edition package that included a bunch of stuff. This is what it looked like. It's kind of like a box set, except that it was focused on just the one album. It included a DVD and a Blu-ray disc, a nice-looking booklet, and it all came in a nice box. So that was $75, pretty good deal for fans that really want to support Reznor. But the most interesting of all was the $300 Ultra Deluxe Limited Edition package. As you can see on this website, the screenshot from the website, it's sold out at this point. This is what it originally said. There's a bunch of additional stuff that was included in that package. This is what it looked like. Again, everything that was in the original deluxe package, plus a bunch more stuff. But the really important thing was that there were only 2,500 of these, and they were all personally signed by Trent Reznor. And the whole thing cost $300, but it was special, it was unique, it added value to the music. And of those 2,500, not surprisingly, they sold out. But what's impressive is how quickly they sold out. It took less than 30 hours for all 2,500 of these to sell out. And if you're doing the math in your head, that's $750,000 gross in 30 hours for music that he was giving out for free. In the first week alone, if you included the other parts of the other options in there, they brought in $1.6 million 1 week, again, for music that they were giving away for free with no record label. But it really was a way to connect with fans and give them a reason to buy and have a business model that works. And even though it was free, and anyone could download it once it was uploaded to the different torrent sites and file sharing things legally. This just came out last week. Amazon announced what their best-selling download albums of 2008 were, and number 1 at the top of the list there is Ghosts 1 through 4. So this was a free album that in the first week alone brought in $1.6 million, and then for the rest of the year continued to sell well on Amazon. At this point, you should hopefully realize that price is not the issue. The fact that the album is available for free is not the end of the business model. It's nothing to worry about. As long as you can connect with fans and give them a reason to buy, there's plenty of money to be made. All right, moving on. Chapter 3 in this set of experiments. Just 2 months after doing Ghosts 1 through 4, he released The Slip. In this case, it was entirely free. You could download the whole thing. You just put in your email address, and you got the entire album downloaded for free. It's a way to connect with fans. And these were high-quality downloads. It was actually an option. You could get the MP3 or a lossless version. It wasn't, get the free, crappy version and then pay for the better version. It was all very good. But then they started to do some neat things to, again, better connect with fans. They got the data from Topspin, which handled the back end for the downloads. And they put together these cool maps on Google Earth that you could see where everyone else was downloading from. I don't know how useful it is, but it was kind of neat and really sort of helped build the community and connect with the fans. Beyond that, the same day that he released The Slip, they also put out the concert listing for 2008. So you could download the music, listen to the music, and immediately buy tickets. And of course, the live shows Reznor and Nine Inch Nails has always made sure that there was a reason to buy tickets to those live shows, because it's not just a show, it's an entire entertainment experience. They have a big screen behind them and doing all sorts of stuff to make it a really exciting experience for the fans, and the fans can't get enough of it. They're just thrilled to go to these concerts beyond just being able to see Reznor perform. And of course, he wasn't just doing this for Nine Inch Nails. There were opening bands on the tour, and so he put together a sampler package where you could, for free, download high-quality downloads of all of the songs from all of the opening bands, again, giving fans more of a way to connect and more of a reason to buy to go see the concerts, because maybe they want to go see some of those opening bands also if they really liked what they were doing. And even then, even though the album was totally free, he gave away more reasons to buy by putting it out on CD and vinyl with a bunch of additional exclusive content in a limited edition version that was numbered, sort of going back to the Ghost 1 through 4 things, with tons of extras. All right, so I keep repeating this, but it's important. Moving on, chapter 4, it's not just when you release an album. All of these have been about album releases, but you have to connect with fans all the time and keep it up. This is Reznor's website, where he's doing a ton of interesting stuff, and I'm going to go through this really fast because there's a lot on here. But it's an ongoing connection. When you first log in, you find out what's new, and then there are the obvious things that lots of bands do, music that you can listen to, community stuff, forums, chat. But then there's some less obvious stuff. He's aggregated photos, and these are from Flickr, all different photos. It's not just the professional photos of the band, but anyone who takes photos and puts it on Flickr is aggregated into this site. You can see what other people were seeing at the concerts you went to or the concerts you missed. He's offering wallpapers that you could download and put them under a Creative Commons license so you could do stuff with them. You may notice the background images that I'm using in this are actually from those wallpapers that have been slightly modified in order to be used as backgrounds in a presentation. Similar to the Flickr thing, there was the video, basically aggregating videos from YouTube that people were taking with their cell phones, putting it all together, and you could watch the videos. Notice that there are no lawsuits involved, no takedowns, no demanding payment from YouTube. It's about using these videos to actually connect with the fans, give them a reason to buy. Another aspect is being able to download raw files and actually encouraging people to remix those files, to listen to them, share them, rate them, exchange them, and get people really involved in the music. He did some other fun things with having contests on the website, including hidden tickets posted on the forum, coordinates that people could go, and they found free tickets to a Nine Inch Nails show in a drainage pipe somewhere in LA. He sent out a survey. There was a long survey, 10 pages, that sort of created a full profile of his fans. But the most interesting part of this was actually the email that he sent. It's obviously kind of long, but the point that Bob Lefsetz made about this particular email was it actually made Trent Reznor sound human, which is so rare in the recording industry, unfortunately. Now, the final chapter, I say to be continued as opposed to the final chapter here because it's not over yet. He continually experiments and continually does new stuff. Just last week, I had to adjust this presentation and sort of hoping that he would stop doing these experiments so quickly because it was getting difficult to keep the presentation up to date. He put up a blog post on his site that somewhat jokingly said that it was contacted by a mysterious shadow group of subversives who happened to film three concerts and put the raw high-definition footage. It turns out that the footage itself is about 450 gigs. Just think about that. Most hard drives are actually less than 450 gigs. I would imagine most of you with laptops do not have 450 gigs. And then you have things like Comcast in the US is limiting people to downloading 250 gigs. Time Warner's going as low as caps that are 5 gigs a month. And yet here he is giving out 450 gigs of high-definition video and then saying, I'll bet some enterprising fans could assemble something pretty cool. It's really just coming up with a really great way to connect with fans, give them a reason to buy, and that is the business model. And an alternative way of thinking about this is instead of CWF standing for Connect with Fans, it also can stand for Compete with Free. And RTB, for reason to buy, can be return to business rather than focusing on complaining about pirates and worrying about new technologies, but actually focusing on how to put together a business model that works. And the important thing is that it does work, and it works in a way that you don't need collective licensing, you don't need DRM, you don't need lawsuits. Technically, and this one gets people upset, you don't even need copyright for this to work. You just need to connect with the fans, give them a reason to buy, and it works. And the important thing is also that it works for musicians both big and small. And I know this is focused obviously on Reznor because that's the point of this presentation, but we're seeing it with lots of small bands using the same type of model. Reznor in a lot of ways is just leading the way for plenty of others in making this work today. And what those others are doing is not copying, they're not doing the exact same thing as Reznor, they're not mimicking exactly, but they're using this basic formula and doing their own variations on it and making it work in a way that they don't have to worry about collective licensing, they don't have to worry about DRM, they don't have to worry about lawsuits, they don't have to worry about copyright. All they have to focus on is the future, focus on the music, and come up with easy business models that work today. And that's my presentation on how Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails represent the future of the music business. And if you want to contact me, that's my email address, or either one of those are. Thank you.